If you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to help me out with the production of more content for this channel, then please consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description down below. Hello everybody, this is SeetherCord and welcome to a new installment of my furry review / analysis series here on YouTube. But honestly, that does have to do with the fact that I was on a 3-month hiatus, but I'm finally back now and ready to record another installment for the series. So for today's episode of furry review / analysis, we're going to be looking into a documentary video about the furry fandom from a YouTube channel called Vice. So if you weren't aware of what Vice so if you don't know what Vice is a digital media and broadcasting company. They span across magazines and other forms of media, especially with the fact that today we're going to be looking at their YouTube channel that has over 8 million subscribers. Now, mostly on their YouTube channel, they do like these short mini documentaries that are very well professionally made and as well as really good with their cinematography aspect. They've ranged from all different types of topics involving a lot of things involving the media, celebrities, conspiracy theories, the drug war, and just a ton of others. And now we're actually going to be looking at a video they made today called The Truth About Furries, Fandom, Not Fetish. So to give some information about this video that we're going to be watching today, this video was uploaded to the official Vice YouTube channel on September 6, 2017, has nearly 300,000 views along with 4,000 likes and 5,000 dislikes. So a lot of people might be wondering why there's so many dislikes compared to likes. Maybe it could be the fact that a lot of people just hate the video just because it involves furries, or maybe because it gives a very cringeworthy or very controversial look at the fandom itself. But the only way we're going to find out what the true answer to that is if we watch this video right now. So let's get right on into the video now, shall we?
Back when I first started fursuiting, I brought it up with my grandma because I wanted her to help me sew. And I was like, hey, can you help me sew a bodysuit? I'm making like basically a mascot costume. And she freaked out because she had thought I was joining this community of like weird people that would get together at meets and all just like get into a group fuck pile.
So I will say to start off the video with that small 30-second introduction is that I like how they're looking into it kind of from what the usual person perspective would be, but I can tell already now based off the title and such that they're going to probably do their best to change that opinion while yet still introducing people what the usual, typical, everyday opinion of furries is.
Hi, babe.
Hey, Mama. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
Looking at all these pictures, never imagined you would be a furry. You look so young there.
I still look young.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, hey, thank you.
Now I will say there's already something I both like and dislike about this video so far. The thing I dislike about this video is that it does seem kind of weird how it quickly transitions to her looking to all the pictures of her son and then immediately goes and says, "Oh, you're a furry, I can't believe it." Which I don't really fault for the mom itself, but it kind of seems a little weird with the editing of the video how she can quickly go and transition from that, which I know some people might not find as a little thing that bothers them, but it kind of bothers me a little bit. Not completely, but just a little bit. And also I like the fact that they do present this guy as really normal, everyday kind of guy, you know, represent that he has a family. Just because he's a furry doesn't mean that he doesn't have a family and friends and other normal everyday things about themselves.
I'm not gonna lie, partying is the #1 thing that most furs like to do. The furry population here was lackluster. There were not many furs. I thought, I'm gonna try. I've seen YouTube videos of a lot of furs going bowling. Let's try to go to our local bowling alley.
All right, furry bowlers, we are gonna be bowling from 32 to 28. So if you want to report to your lane, and let's get on with the bowling.
Now, I do like when it transitions to them saying that a lot of furs like to party. I like how they don't instantly mean like parties where there's like raves and tons of drugs and alcohol immediately. Instead of just saying that's the kind of way of party lifestyle, they go to just regular everyday bowling, which is safe and family friendly. I like that they dodge making it seem as if furries are all just about drugs and sex and alcohol.
It's coming in here. Man, it's getting stuffy in here.
Sure is.
Hey, this is RK, and welcome to Culturally Effed. We are rolling, right? Oh. A lot of people feel furry has to be a certain thing, but in my experience, furry is animation, it's comics, it's cosplay, it's all of these other weird aspects all sort of knotted into a big messy ball. It's just gotta have talking animals in it.
Want to know what I'm drawing?
I also really liked how in the video they featured actual furry YouTubers, Culturally Effed, which I also find really cool because of the fact that they're subscribed to me. Thanks, guys. It's also really cool to add the fact that they show their studio and all their equipment as well, really showing that they're being very serious about their YouTube show involving furries, showing that furries can be very professional with what kind of art they express. Personally, I always desired to get my own form of studio to make my videos, but just to me, all I got is my microphone, my laptop, and my external hard drive pretty much. I'm so poor.
In 2000, significant point in furry history is when the CSI episode, Fur and Loathing, comes out and sort of paints the fandom as this like crazy sex fetish cult, which really, really diminishes the reputation of the fandom. Because obviously CSI is a documentary.
I also find it really cool that they mention the CSI episode about furries. It is a very important part of furry history and how it affected a lot of people's opinions and mentalities about furries, usually in a very negative way.
I really would actually prefer if people didn't know in my personal life that I do this. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but there's certain social connotations that kind of come with it. It just keeps things a lot simpler.
It's very cool for the fact that they added in this one guy who wanted to be anonymous from his actual real life self, showing that not all furries are willing to just shove their furriness in everyone's faces. Some people like to keep it on the download, which is really cool, showing that they have time for their furry stuff and time for their non-furry stuff. Personally, I know some people who don't like furries that much, but they know that I'm a furry and I'm still friends with them because I'm not always forcing the fact that I'm a furry down their throats.
There are, I think, 8 animal heads in my room right now that are masks that I can wear. That's weird. You can not like it, that's one thing, but actually being outwardly cruel to somebody or being like, oh, you're a freak because of it, it's just like, just back off. I'm not hurting you. I've had 2 separate incidents where people have hit me in suit, and like non-furries, and I don't want to deal with that again. I had a cheerleader at a parade beat me over the head with a stick.
There was one thing about the interview with the fursuit maker that I found very interesting, and that was the fact that he mentioned that he was physically assaulted twice in his fursuit. Definitely showing some sympathy for furries because of the fact that they have been victim of physical assault by people who are very ignorant. And whether or not you agree or disagree with furries, you gotta admit, they're not harming anybody, so you shouldn't physically harm them back.
Oh, don't do this to me today, machine. Because I make them, I definitely love them a lot. I put a lot into my work. It's Byzantium version 2. I've got a work in progress here. This is going to be the same character as Byzantium here. Byzantium being my goals character. His personality is basically what I want myself to be, so he'd be less anxious, just more of a chill, laid-back kind of character versus being like high anxiety like I am.
It's very cool that they showed off all the different types of fursuits that this fursuit maker has done. Definitely showing how you can make some money in terms of showing off your art within the furry community and making your own form of business. I do find it very interesting because of the fact that I'm close friends with another furry YouTuber slash fursuit maker named Starek. So I do definitely see the hard work and a lot of the struggles that come with fursuit making, even though I'm not a fursuit maker myself. Another positive aspect is how they show off this one particular fursuit maker's personas, and how they describe that certain people make their personas just like them, and yet also have some people that make their personas not exactly like them. Showing definitely the creative side of people when developing their personas to represent them or their certain characters that they create.
Howl is... I was expecting it to be a lot racier than it is. It's just like people dancing, getting drunk. It's just a regular party scene with some fursuiters and other weird furry things sprinkled on top. There's like a bit of kink here, but they don't get into anything explicit.
The most absurd.
It's nice that Vice also shows in this documentary some of the not so family-friendly parts of the furry community as well, showing how this party involves raves and alcohol and some little bit of kink, but not too much to the point where it becomes too much to show in the Vice documentary. So good on you, Vice.
My persona actually created itself. I'm a mom. My nickname is Fluffy. Mother Fluff. There we go. Mother Fluff. I believe I was a cat in a past life, yeah. Oh, I know I'm human. I know I'm 100% human. It's just, I wish I was a cat. Got an itchy nose, hold on. I'm more in it for the social than for the art. They're just positive energy to be around.
Another positive aspect is they show that how certain furries are moms and not just males who usually don't have wives and they're usually 19 or 20 something year olds. It's nice to see how you can see that a furry can be of any type of age or demographic, be it a mom, a kid, a teenager, a young adult. It's also interesting to know that not all furries are in it for just artistic aspects, but just also because they want to be social and have certain social interactions and don't necessarily have to create things. I definitely don't like it how certain people say that you have to be artistic in some way or be a drawer or such to be a true furry, which doesn't have to mean that at all. You can do it just because you want to be extroverted and have tons of friends who happen to be furries.
Furries are all over the place. I know CEOs, I know people that run banks, I know there are people that...
Not naming names. There's a lot of baggage involved with being a furry.
The fear that somehow it will, well, not somehow, there's been proof that it's happened. You'll lose your job just because you're now associated with being a furry.
Yeah.
Once again, I really like how the person with the pink hair mentions that there's people all over the board that are furries. It's just that they're not completely open about it because they usually want to keep it private out of being judged or such.
So this footage was just sent to us and features Hilda the Bambioid. So yeah, I haven't seen this before either. This is furry archaeology. You can't show this and suddenly say, oh, no, it was all very, very well-to-do. No, obviously there was some sexiness added to it, like really early on.
It's also nice to add that there's some very old footage of fursuiters out there as well that they showed off, showing that the furry community goes back so far, showing that it's not only just something that's popping up recently, but it's been something that's been under the works for such a very long time, probably even back to the 70s or 80s.
To be honest, I have had sex with my tail and my head, but it's uncomfortable because it gets in the way. You're like huffing and puffing is...
I guess it's called yiffing. How are you? We tried it. We're not really that into it, but we're still new into the fandom, so you never know.
It can be done. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not that kind of furry, and I know a lot of people that aren't that kind of furries.
Now this is a part of the video that Vice really could have screwed up on, but they did it in such a subtle way to the point where it shows, hey, I've done it sometimes in my fursuit, but that doesn't mean I do it all the time and I'm just casual about it. There are some people who take it a little farther, but it's not everybody. Which is cool to mention because with a lot of people having the missed idea that like a lot of people wear their fursuit just to have sex, no, that's not what furries are about. That's only representing a small portion of the community, once again saying it's not necessarily a bad thing to do that, but it doesn't represent everybody in the fandom, which is very nice and clever of Vice to do.
There's a lot of personas based off of the individual's superego.
It emphasizes the good aspects of people's personalities, the aspects that they want to build on and improve on and outwardly express more.
Or how little they care about their bad ones.
That is a good fact that they mention about how there's a lot of people with personas out there that tend to make it just only on the good aspects of them and probably even amplify them. And you know what I'm talking about, the people with those personas that are extremely muscular, like dogs and such, that have like 40, 50 penises on them. You know those. God damn it.
I always knew something was different about me. It felt really wrong saying I'm a girl. I had started being a furry before I had even thought about transition. So I had a very masculine character. So that kind of, it helped me realize more of the trans thing. With a fursuit, you can pad it out to have breasts or abs or whatever. Meanwhile, you have the opposite. So it gives people a way to anonymously express their gender identity, which is a huge thing, especially if you're stealth and you don't want people knowing that kind of thing, or you're not able to come out yet.
That is also something I don't hear that many furries talk about as well. Even though there are definitely a lot of LGBT people in the furry community, I don't really hear that many people mentioning how they use their persona to really help express their gender identity or their sexual identity. I do definitely know a lot of people who identify as male at the moment, but they definitely have female personas and fursuits to help them express their gender identity as well.
I do see Mother Fluff as an extension of myself. She's angry. The cat is angry. Whenever I'm with my kids, my daughter is attached to my hip. It sucks not having custody of them because it makes me feel like I didn't try hard enough. I'm an angry mom. I don't have my kids, right? What kind of mom would be happy without their kids? I've been depressed since I was about 12. And it's always, try this medication and then it doesn't work. Try this medication and I don't feel right when I take it, so I stop it. But when I put on my fursuit, like, just when I put on my fursuit, I feel so much happier. It's like a medicine that you just put on. I haven't cut since I have been a furry.
Now this is probably the most difficult and heavy part of the video to really discuss. There are definitely a lot of people who are depressed that use the furry fandom to help them really relieve their stress, to help them express what they truly feel through their personas or through their art or through their music or through their YouTube videos even, so that way they can help them cope with their sadness and or depression. As you can see in the video, this woman has gone through a lot with losing her kids and how she definitely uses her persona to really express the anger she has with losing the kids through custody, and also a way to help her find happiness within her own life again. And I'm really happy for this person being able to do that through using her fursuit and her persona.
I wanted to create sort of a safe haven where people wouldn't have to feel alone. I grew up alone. It was fine for me, but not everybody has that strength. So I thought the best way to kind of rectify that was to get as many people with things in common together as possible, as quickly as possible. And it worked.
That's the thing that Furry offers.
Can you do that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, success!
If you don't fit the mold you were born into, well, you know, you'll fit ours.
Silly costume, life-changing.
Now that's an absolutely great way to end off a video about furries. The end of the video definitely shows the message of how you don't necessarily need to fit into a normal crowd to be happy. All you really have to do is search out and find friends who are like you and express themselves the way that you do to help yourself feel happy and loved. That's a very important message, not only for people that struggle who end up being a furry, but also just in life in general for people who want to find happiness through themselves that they never felt like they fit in. Which you don't necessarily need to be a furry to do that. You can express it through if you want to be into My Little Pony, or you want to be into anime, or be into World of Warcraft, or Dungeons and Dragons, or Pokemon, or whatever. And that pretty much wraps up the video called The Truth About Furries, Fandom Not Fetish by the YouTube channel known as Vice. I will say this is overall a great video / documentary made by the YouTube channel Vice about furries. It shows definitely a very deep, in-depth look at not only the good and bad aspects of the furry fandom, but also the deep mental / emotional feeling towards the fandom as a whole with a lot of people within it. If you definitely want to check out more videos by the YouTube channel known as Vice and their other documentaries, be it about any other thing in the world that's interesting / weird, go definitely check out their channel, link in the description down below, as well as a link in the description to the original video as well. And that pretty much wraps up my furry review / analysis video for today. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support the creation of more videos on my channel, please consider donating to my Patreon, link in the description down below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button to further help out my channel as well. And also please consider hitting that notification bell so that way you can get notified on your phone or tablet every single time I upload a video. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please consider hitting it now so that way you can further help out my channel as well. I've been SeetherCord and I will see you guys in the next video. So, goodbye everyone. My friends.
And yes, you're my friend. You're my boy.
I don't like how Seether in this game looks with his hair. It looks like a freaking, look at this fucking piece of shit. Look at his hair. Just all like, oh, I'm so cool.
Anime,
like
gravity defying hair.
Late 90s boy band hair, you know. Or Backstreet Boys shit. Like,
Oh, come on.